In this episode, I would like to talk about money, a very difficult topic, especially in the music business. Before I start, first of all, let me repeat a career in music can take years. But if you are a great artist, if you are persistent and patient, you will succeed. Believe me, there is enough space for everybody to perform. And of course, then a point comes that people will want to book your band or your project. And then the question will be, how much? Sometimes the promoter will say, well, this is the budget, take it or leave it, which ironically makes it easier for you to decide if you're going to accept the offer or turn it down. But if they ask you, how much is it going to cost? Then it becomes hard. And I must say, it's extremely difficult to answer this question, the how much money question, which of course I get all the time. Maybe you've noticed until this point, I'm very confident. I know exactly what to do, how to get the gigs. I know all the tricks, etc., etc. But the money question is very hard to answer. And the simple reason is that every situation is different. But of course, there are a couple of things you can do to find out how much you could ask for. For instance, maybe you can ask a musician you know who already performed at the venue or festival how much they got, and keep this between you, of course. This will give you an idea of how much you could ask for. Another thing you can do is roughly do the maths yourself. What is the capacity of the venue? How much do they charge for a ticket? Does the venue have to be rented? And how much does it cost, including technicians and staff? This will also give you a rough idea of what would be possible. So again, every situation is different. And what I strongly recommend you to do is, if you know there is money to play with, like a heavily sponsored festival or a well-subsidized venue, then don't be afraid to ask money. And a very important thing here, if there is no money or only little money to play with, then you should think twice if you're going to accept the gig or not. If you are very sure that it can lead to other good gigs or contacts, you can consider doing it and look at it as an investment. In any case, if you get the reputation that you always perform for peanuts, it's almost impossible on the long run to get rid of this reputation. Don't get the, as I call it, the handyman or handywoman reputation. A person who does everything for $10 an hour. You know what I mean. If it comes to budgeting, do this. Ask for one amount which includes everything, whether it's a local gig or a gig which is far away or abroad. In that case, make one budget which includes travel costs, hotels, meals, and say to the organizer, this is the budget which includes everything, and I will take care of everything myself, which is actually really easy to do nowadays. Make it easy for a promoter, and your chance to get the gig and the desired budget will increase. If you have any questions about money, or if you would be interested in a private online session, then shoot me an email at clinics@mikedelferro.com. And if you would be interested in my music and my other podcast, the Mike Del Ferro podcast, where I talk about my travels, my collaborations with many musicians all over the world, interviews with great people, and much more, then please visit my website, mikedelferro.com. If you enjoy my podcast, then please subscribe, give it a rating, and share it with other musicians. I also host another podcast, the Mike Del Ferro podcast, with travel stories, interviews with wonderful people, and more. You will find it on Spotify and all other podcast platforms, or via my website, mikedelferro.com.